Good morning once again, and welcome to the Haven Financial Group radio show. Thanks for listening. Feel free to give us a call with any questions, worries, concerns, or maybe something you heard on the air today. Our number is 612-504-8400 or havenfinancialgroup.com. Kim, we're still teaching lots of educational classes. For 10 years, we've been firm about doing lots of education. Education is the potential for power. People are yearning for it because they're showing up at these educational workshops, and that's what they are. They're not sales classes.
Mm-hmm.
We're there to educate on Social Security and taxation. You can see that on our site, the classes, wills, trusts, and legacy planning with our estate planning partners, provision law, investment classes. I just taught a class well attended, The Truth About Annuities. These classes go on throughout the year. Medicare Made Simple, all these retirement puzzle pieces that I want to point out we do at Haven Financial Group. You know, we may be talking about wealth management today, which we do. Obviously, we have an investment team of 12. We manage with Charles Schwab and Fidelity. But we help a lot of people in the Medicare area, the long-term care, the life insurance reviews, which people oftentimes overlook, doing tax planning, which includes tax preparation. These are all the services or all the puzzle pieces we offer at Haven Financial Group, which was the goal 10 years ago when I started the company. It didn't happen overnight, but I love the compliment. Larry, it's so nice to have all the different personalities in these areas in the same office because we can communicate with each other. Absolutely. All of these things should be coordinated more so in retirement than ever in your life. And oftentimes you're doing this over here, maybe not doing this at all. And things are working against each other rather than for and with each other.
Absolutely. So just a quick reminder, you don't have to be a client of Haven Financial Group, but you certainly can be to attend one of these educational seminars. You can find out where they're being held and the subject matter at havenfinancialgroup.com. havenfinancialgroup.com. Be sure you go on, take a look, see what's convenient for you, what you might have some questions about. You know, you don't know what you don't know till you get there. And then you find out that you have a lot more questions about things than you maybe even anticipated that you would. But please sign up because they do book out, and they just like to get a sense of how many people will be attending. That's havenfinancialgroup.com. Don't let your emotions control your finances. That's pretty much been the overarching theme in our show today, with the underlying theme being, of course, the uncertainty in the markets and in the economy. We've established the idea that the economy and the markets are two different things. And many times the markets may look like they're doing great, but the economy itself is still in inflation. We're still suffering. And the consumer, the retiree, is still feeling the effects. We're there right now. There's some uncertainty in the markets, but certainly that inflation is still a little high, and we're all feeling it in different places. So again, gentlemen, let's just step back and let's just say, how is it that you want to tell people to sort of separate the two, your emotions, feeling stressed, feeling concerned about your dollars, and the logistics of what's really happening and how you need to deal with it?
So yeah, emotions are going to always be there when it comes to your finances, because for everyone, that's your life's work and savings, and that's what you're going to be living on in your retirement when you're done working. So obviously, any impact to the downside or upside too can really impact your feelings on that, and you're going to want to hold on to that. And a lot of people have a high watermark feeling too. So when their accounts hit all-time highs earlier this year for a lot of people. And then the market dropped 10% from there. That felt like a big loss. Yeah. But the market had actually only gone down year to date, depending on how you're invested, 5 to 10%, which isn't a huge loss actually. If that was the worst loss that we have in the stock market for the next 20 years, I'd be very happy about that. Because we all remember 2022, just a few years ago, it was down 20 to 30%. So there's a mentality there of fear, even if it's losses kind of in a minimal degree. But that we need to change the perception on those losses, actually, because for me as a professional advisor, I don't like clients losing money, but it also provided a great opportunity for us in how we manage money. And that was because we could rebalance. So if you are super emotional about your investments and where they're at in that kind of time where the market's going down 10%, you might not be in the right profile. And that's okay. We need to find what the best risk profile is for you, because we want you to feel comfort even in those kinds of moments. And that's one of the biggest things that we do is find what kind of stock to bond ratio do you need in order to be comfortable and sleep at night, because that's ultimately where you stay away from making irrational decisions with your investments.
And Larry, a long-term plan, as long as you've communicated with your financial planner and you've continued to watch it, a long-term plan, even in these uncertain times, is the best kind of plan.
Oh, without question. Consider the timeline. Retirement could be 10, 20, 30 plus years. I know when the team builds out plans, we're going into the 90s. So you got to think, short-term bucket, long-term is the plan. And life happens. Life's calendar doesn't always cooperate with our calendar. There's going to be needs for modifications. People can run into health issues. They can, a market downturn and the volatility that we have, a family transition, a loss of a spouse, a replacement of income. All of these things, life happens and it happens quickly. But consider that timeline. I guess the easiest advice I can give a lot of the listeners too, because we hear and we see this so often, is sometimes when people retired, maybe they have a little bit more time on their hands. Mm-hmm. Although most people, a lot of retirees say, I don't know how I had time to work because I'm so busy now in retirement. And I say, well, what are you doing? Well, we're babysitting, grandparenting, and going to doctor's appointments. Oh, it sounds like a lot of fun, actually. But be careful about how much you bombard yourself with news. Thank you for listening to our show. We appreciate that. However, sometimes, too much news, negativity breeds the news. And their fear and anxiety, maybe you're just watching too much of too many different news stations, and that's where this anxiety and confusion and worry, maybe that's breeding it too much. I've seen it too much, and sure. Oh my gosh, I heard this, I heard this, I heard this. Well, I'm not saying bury your head in the sand. That's not what I'm saying. But oftentimes I'll say, when they say, did you hear about this? I'm like, where did you hear this? Well, it's some source I've never heard of in my entire life. Again, you can live that way if you want to. I don't think it's a great way to live retirement. So just be careful. It's what's going on in this world, and stay up with the times, but don't overwhelm yourself, because that's where problems exist.
Well, there's a lot of noise out there. There's no two ways about that. And it seems like to me what you guys are saying is that you're safer, certainly to stay informed, but to stay accountable to your plan. Stay with your plan.
Accountability. Now, we may not want accountability, but during these times in retirement, accountability is important. Somebody to hold your hand, somebody to remind you of why you did what you did.
Right.
A reminder of, why you're not taking as much risk in your portfolio as you did when you were 30 years old. All of these things is the partner that you should have. Again, they don't all have to be under the same roof. They can be. We do offer all these services. But your financial future deserves more than, I would say, an emotional guesswork. Mm-hmm. Hope is not a plan. Now, we need hope, but we need to have a plan, a real well-structured plan that can adapt and be modified. And that often comes with the guidance from a financial advisor, a financial planner, a team. And we are a team. We're not a one-trick pony shop that can hold you accountable. Again, communication and spending the time, and we'll give you the confidence that you deserve.
Absolutely. The partnership that you deserve. And if you're looking for a partner, let's get started right now. Call Haven Financial Group. The number is 612-504-8400, 612-504-8400. That's how you get hold of the experts there at Haven Financial Group. You can also go to havenfinancialgroup.com. You check out some of those educational seminars coming up that we talked about a brief time ago. Be sure you sign up. Remember, you don't know what you don't know. So go there. there, get yourself educated, get your questions answered. Sometimes Larry says people come and they've had a question for years and they've waited for that opportunity to finally speak to someone who can answer the question. If you're one of those people, be sure that you sign up. Kyle Thomas, thank you so much for being part of the show today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was great to be here.
Absolutely.
Kim, great to be with you. We'll see you next week.
Super. Thank you, Larry.